Hello and welcome to your energy art reading for the 24th to the 30th of June. My name's Vicky Paul. I'm an intuitive and an artist, and I use art and creativity to connect to spirit, to channel guidance, clarity, wisdom, and this is all for your general well-being. These are general readings, so please take what resonates. And I'm just going to dive straight in. The first symbol that came through is a grapefruit. And grapefruits are all about cleansing. And for me, this energy is a call that this week and going forward as we enter into the summer, certainly in the Northern Hemisphere, it's all about renewal and cleansing. But the grapefruit, from a spiritual perspective, is about cleansing your aura. So this is not just about cleansing your body, it's about cleansing your energy and just releasing what no longer serves you. And it feels also that with this symbol of the grapefruit, it's, for some of you, there's been a bit of a pattern of not really taking care of yourself. So this could be a wee reminder or just the sign that you need to start taking care of yourself emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And they're also about, when I think of grapefruit, it was, and again, I'm showing my age. This is way back in the day when you used to go on a diet, you'd have half a grapefruit for your breakfast. Not that I'm suggesting that you need to go on a diet or take half a grapefruit for breakfast, but it was very much about sort of control. For me, breakfast is, I look forward to my breakfast in the morning, and the thought of having half a grapefruit would be like, what? That is not going to sustain anyone. So this is also about a bit of control. So a bit of self-discipline is maybe needed. And again, I'm referencing what these symbols mean to me, which is why I get them to then relate to you what it is that it means. So a wee bit of self-discipline, a bit of self-control for some of you. And the other thing, this could also just be from a health perspective, that you need a bit more vitamin C, you need a bit more fiber in your diet. So yes, it's looking at cleansing the aura, but it's also looking at the nutritional properties of the grapefruit. The next image I got was a laptop. Now, this is not clear whether the laptop is closing or opening. I felt that it was closing. So I also feel that this is related to the energy from last week, where life has just been really hectic for a lot of us. And this is about kind of downing tools. It's like close the laptop, get away from your computer, excuse me, and just stop surfing, stop using social media, stop using tech. And this could be part of the grapefruit energy, because they came after one another, about cleansing the aura. When we use too much technology, it starts to sort of defrag our energy and can start to interfere with our energetic body. And well, it certainly can for me. And if you work with energy, or you would consider yourself a light worker, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Technology and energy doesn't really, they clash. So I feel this is very much about, shutting down the tech and maybe taking a wee break from technology for a bit. I know that's not possible for so many of us because of work and, keeping in touch with family, but even if it's just for half an hour, just to sort of step away from the computer, step away from your laptop. The next energy that came through was a fruit tree, and I had the symbols of cherries and apples, and then I had this expression, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So that's going to make sense to some of you. I also had the image of somebody reaching up to pluck the apples out the tree. So I feel that this is about being ripe and ready for the plucking. Now it's harvest time. It's all those ideas, these sort of goals that you've been envisioning, that we've been talking about over the last few weeks in these readings. It feels that it's time to pluck the apple from the tree and take that harvest. But what was interesting is that I drew this, and the sort of stick figure, I wasn't happy with it. So I scrapped it and drew it again, but this time without the stick figure. So that means really to me that some of you are ready, but some of you are tentative and not quite ready. So what is stopping you? What is the thought process or the blockage that's preventing you from picking that apple from the tree and biting into it? And as I'm describing this, I'm getting this image of Eve eating the apple. So it's something fairly significant in your life, you know, and can it be life changing, which is why maybe there's some reticence for some of you to sort of pluck this apple out the tree. They're still on the tree. They're not ready to fall. And again, I'm getting the image because when this was first fruit, the image on a fruit tree when it came through, I'm getting the image just now of an olive tree. So that's going to resonate with some of you. But olive trees, you know, olives tend to all drop onto the ground, and I've just got this impression of all these olives dropping onto the ground. So some of you are really ready to go for this, and it's literally going to be bang, everything's going to fall off the tree, and you're going to be ready to pick it up and collect them and move forward. And again, apples and fruit tying in with the energy of the grapefruit. This is all sort of health related. So definitely some requirements for looking after your health a wee bit more. You know, a healthy body creates a healthy mind, creates healthy thought patterns. The next image I received was a plane traveling at night under the moonlight. And this is twofold. Some of you will literally be going on a journey. Your flight will be at night. But for me, this feels like nighttime journeying, dream journeying. And I feel that for some of you, you're going to be getting some really vivid dreams this week, and they're going to be giving you guidance and wisdom as to what's going on in your life. There might even be some astral projection. It's not something I know a huge amount about, but it's just coming into my mind when I'm talking about it. So I want you to pay attention to your dreams. And if you can remember, put a journal at the side of your bed so that in the morning you wake up and you jot down what the dreams are. And I feel because the moon is bright, this is all around your emotional health. So this is, you know, the moon for me is all about emotions. And the fact that it's a bright full moon, it means that it's going to highlight. So these dreams are going to be highlighting something emotional for you. So some of you may be going through a sort of emotional period where there's just not been a lot of clarity, or there's been indecision and you're not quite sure which way to turn or what to do in a situation. I would say look to your dreams this week because you're going to get some clarity there. I then had an image of a sailing boat on the ocean in the bright sunshine, and it felt that there was no wind in this image. And I just had this vision of this boat, you know, centuries ago when they were on an exploration from one side of the world to the other. So this real adventure, this expansion, and there was no wind, and it was the time when there was no engines in boats. So you really were at the mercy of Mother Nature. And if there was no wind, you just float almost aimlessly sometimes at sea for days, just waiting and willing for the wind to pick up so that you could continue your journey. So this is very much an energy of being on this journey, and there's a pause at the moment. And it's going to feel frustrating because you want to be, you know, on this journey, reaching shore, but it feels like you're going to be bobbing about for a wee bit. And this is all about just having that resilience and the patience. And I say resilience because I'm getting the image of shipmates getting scurvy when they didn't have enough supplies and enough fruit. And again, I'm saying fruit. This is tied in with this, vitamin C. And scurvy was that old disease. They don't really get it anymore, I don't think, where you didn't have enough nutrients and enough sort of vitamin C in your diet, and it all made your lips kind of cracked. But it was a real sign of nutrient deficiency, and it tended to be, you know, with sailors, because they would have a certain amount of supplies for the journey, and if they found themselves caught at sea without any wind, they had to really ration supplies. And this is what it feels like. It feels like this journey, this pause, is going to be a wee bit tricky for some of you, and you're going to feel a wee bit depleted and sort of low on energy. So this could well be why I'm getting these symbols of fruit and, you know, the apples, the cherries, the olives, the grapefruit, just to really eat healthily, eat a good diet full of vitamins and minerals over the next sort of few weeks. whilst you're in this emotionally challenging pause, because our emotions can drain our energy way more than we realize and can deplete us. So just to be aware of that. And it feels, I feel that I am sort of looking down on this image. I'm not in the image. So again, for some of you, there'll be a sort of emotional detachment here. That will resonate with you. So it will be sort of tricky to stay the course. Some of you will just want to walk away. But I feel if you resist doing that and just have the patience and almost lean into it, you're going to see huge rewards. I then had the image of an eclipse. So this is the moon behind, in front of the sun, and the sort of rays coming out. Now, eclipses are a time of reflection and renewal and an appreciation for life. So I feel, given the fact that these two images were next to one another, and obviously you've got the yellow of the sun here and the yellow of the sun in this image, there's definitely a relation here. So, or a relationship here rather. And so in terms of informing the guidance from both, it feels like the eclipse energy, because it's a time of sort of renewal and reflection and an appreciation for life. It feels that this journey that you're on, this pause, this emotional pause, if you lean into it and use the energy of the solar eclipse, your life is going to feel renewed. And you're going to really start to appreciate life, because so many of us, we're so busy, moving through life and aiming for all the different targets and goals and journeys that we're on, that we often forget what's going on round about us. And I heard a podcast recently with Jimmy Carr, who is a comedian here in the UK, and he made some mention about, I think it was Kubla Khan, or had said that, if you're traveling so fast on a horse, you can't smell the roses. And that really rings true for this energy here. It's very much about pausing and just looking at what's going on round about you. And again, because this is a sailing boat at sea, water is emotion for me. So this is definitely a huge part of your emotional expansion and your emotional journey. And I feel, just hang in there, go with the flow, just allow the sort of the ocean to sort of bob you along for the meantime. And then if you do that, you'll get all this renewal energy, this massive appreciation for life, and then this flood of sort of positive forward motion. And then I got the image of a little mouse. So this is quite an interesting one, because it feels, some people don't like mice. I'm not bothered with them. I think they're quite cute. But I want to say with this, it feels that there's a bit of experimenting going on. And I hate to bring up the energy of mice being used in sort of scientific experiments. And it's more that is a symbol for me of experimentation. I'm not condoning it by any stretch. But it feels that some of you are going to be doing some experimenting at the moment. Life is going to be just a bit of trial and error to see what works. And it also feels, it's interesting that it's walking off in this direction. And I had the image of the mouse walking in this direction, but I initially wanted to draw it the other way because it felt more comfortable to draw it the other way. But I tried to draw it this way, and this is kind of heading off, as I'm looking at it, into the sort of the left-hand side, my left-hand side, which is the feminine side. So this is very much connected to the divine feminine energy. And I feel that it's got such a long, thick tail. So it feels that, and again, I seem to have this memory or this image that if you pick a mouse up with its tail, sometimes its tail would fall off. Is that right? But this is a really thick tail. So this is a really sturdy, strong, healthy mouse, which obviously you're representing the mouse energy. It may well be that you have mice in your house. You might see a mouse, but it feels very much more about sort of experimentation. But also mice are, they can really squish their bodies into tiny, tiny, flat kind of structures that can get through skirting boards and whatnot, and you know, they're in behind the skirting boards and they're just quite inquisitive, and they, you know, they wait and they go out and explore at night time, again kind of tying in with these energies of the nighttime dreaming. So there's obviously a wee bit of exploration going on with the mice, or the mouse energy there as well, so these are tied in. I then had the image of a door opening. So this is literally doors going to be opening for you. And again, this all ties in with the sailing energy, just having that patience, and the door is going to open for you. And you'll notice that there's nothing behind the door. There's nothing in front of the door. It's literally a drawing. And that feels that instead of it being dark going into the room, there's a lot of light here. So it feels really positive. And it feels almost like you know, there could be anything behind the door, and it's entirely up to you what is behind that door. And yeah, I'm getting this impression of sort of intellectual stimulation, education. So there's something behind that door that's going to really involve the intellect, the mind, your expansion, your education in life. And I don't necessarily mean sort of traditional education. I mean emotional and spiritual education. I then had the image of a fairy, which felt really playful. And this could literally be that the energies of fairies, you know, when you work with energy, there's a lot of different symbology around. So it may well be that some of you work with fairies, or that this is going to make sense to you. It feels very playful. And I want to say, when I had this initial image, it felt that, you know, fairies are kind of playful and fun. They're a wee bit cheeky. And it felt that this is maybe some of the energy that we need to be embodying at the moment, you know, just to be a wee bit here and then fleet away and have a bit of fun, have this kind of light, frivolous energy to us, because it could well be that there's some heavy stuff going on, you know, with the dreams. So just a reminder that, you know, life is fun, and it's about playing and having a bit of that kind of interesting sort of exploration energy. You know, fairies kind of dart from place to place, and I'm getting the image of the fairies in Peter Pan, and they can be a tremendous support. And you know, fairies from a sort of spiritual symbology point of view, they are, you know, people work with the sort of energies of the fairies in the way that you would work with the energy of a spirit animal, for example. I don't know a huge amount about this sort of deity in terms of what fairies mean, but I'm going to leave it with you. There's a reason that there's red and yellow in there. Red's associated with the root chakra and sort of passion and your drive and determination, and the yellow is associated with the solar plexus, which is all about identity. So it could well be that this wee fairy is helping you to feel more grounded in who you are, and more comfortable in your own skin. Now, in terms of some words that I got through, just to wrap the reading up for the week of the 24th to the 30th of June, I got the word healing. I feel there's a lot of healing going on at the moment for all of us, and that would make sense given the grapefruit energy, and also given the information that's coming through in your dreams this week. It's going to be very healing. I then got the word Zanzibar. Now, Zanzibar is an island in the Indian Ocean off the east coast of Africa, and it's coming to mind that it was the Spice Islands, and I feel that life is going to be a wee bit spicy for you. And what do I mean by spicy? Well, you can interpret that whichever way you wish. It could be a wee bit tasty, which means it's good fun, or it could be a wee bit tricky, a wee bit difficult. You know, spices, if you have chili, it can be a wee bit, not quite pleasant. So I'm just getting the interpretation of spicy. So whatever resonates with you, just take it as life is going to be a wee bit spicy this week. And I then got the word old school, which I want to say is also feeling connected with Zanzibar. And it feels almost that, you know, when I think back about the Spice Islands, and when I kind of lean into that, it feels, you know, the Spice Islands, it was like a trading place, you know, and maybe part of the spice route, I don't know, but I'm getting this sensation of trading, and it being a trading place. And when I look at old school, that feels like I'm being guided to go back in history to this kind of trading energy. So it may well be that there's going to be a trade-off this week. So some of you, to gain one thing, are going to have to trade another. So it's not going to be, when we're sometimes through life, we're kind of on the receiving end, or we're always giving out. It feels that there's going to be give and take this week. So you're going to be trading one thing for another. And it may well be that I'm being called to go back to this laptop, that this is the energy of kind of searching. We go on to Google. We're all Google doctors. If we don't know something, we Google it. So it feels that actually close this down. There's too much searching, too much logical decision-making process in this. When we close this laptop and we just allow that old school energy of using our brain, using our heart, and not reaching for someone else's interpretation of what it is or someone else's guidance, and kind of going old school, we'll realize and remember and uncover what it is that we want to be trading, what we're prepared to give up in order to receive. So there you have it. That is your energy art reading for the 24th to the 30th of June. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, I would really appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button and also like and share with anyone you think would be interested in doing this. I'm trying to grow the channel, and I feel this is a really sort of intuitive and really different way to use art and energy to help bring through that clarity, wisdom and guidance. And whilst this is a general reading, I do also offer one-to-one readings. So if this has resonated and you've got something going on in your life at the moment that you're looking for some guidance for, then please do get in touch. So sending you lots of love for the rest of the week.